Hello, amazing people. Welcome once again to Scripture's Haven, your place where the Bible comes to life, where we bring you stories that reveal God's love, power, and faithfulness. And today, we're diving into a remarkable tale of King Hezekiah, a leader who dared to challenge God's decree and won. Imagine for a moment the year is 715 BC and standing before you is Hezekiah, the king of Judah. He's not your typical ruler. He's young, just 25 years old, and he's got a heavy task on his shoulders. The spiritual health of his nation is in his hands. Idolatry is running rampant, and the people of Judah have strayed far from God. But Hezekiah has a heart for God. He wants to lead his people back to the path of righteousness. So he dives in head first, reopening the doors of the temple, restoring the priests, and rededicating himself and his kingdom to God. But his actions don't sit well with everyone, particularly the Assyrians. They've set their sights on Jerusalem, and King Sennacherib is determined to conquer the city. He dispatches a delegation to mock Hezekiah and break his spirit. They scoff at the idea of a small city like Jerusalem defeating the mighty Assyrian Empire. You rely on help from Egypt, that weak reed of a nation. Would Pharaoh and his officials rather come to save you? It is he and his people who are dying. Don't you realize that Egypt is human, not divine, though our ancestors made it great? Sounding a lot like Satan, these messengers tempt Hezekiah to despair, suggesting that the gods of other nations could not save them. So why should they trust in the God of Abraham? But Hezekiah doesn't crumble under pressure. Instead, he walks right into the temple and pours out his heart to God in a heartfelt prayer, beseeching God for help in the face of this seemingly hopeless situation. As he cried out to the Lord, Hezekiah wasn't just praying for himself. He was praying for his people, for his city, and for his God. He knew that if Jerusalem fell, it wouldn't just be him who'd suffer. It would be a blow to God's reputation as well. Then something extraordinary happens. God responds. He sends the prophet Isaiah to tell Hezekiah that the Assyrian army won't set foot in Jerusalem. The very next night, an angel swoops in and wipes out 185,000 Assyrian soldiers. In the blink of an eye, the threat that loomed so large is gone. The victory is complete, and the people of Judah have a new lease on their lives and their faith. But this isn't the end of Hezekiah's story. He goes on to rule for another 15 years, thanks to a miraculous intervention that adds a whole new chapter to his tale. However, it's not all smooth sailing. Even after this stunning victory, challenges continue to mount, and Hezekiah finds himself facing yet another daunting prospect. Suddenly, he falls gravely ill, and the prognosis is grim. Isaiah visits him once again, but this time he brings tidings of sorrow, informing Hezekiah that he won't make it. Death is on the horizon, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Yet Hezekiah's spirit doesn't break. He turns his face toward the wall, away from the comforting presence of Isaiah, and pours out his soul to God. He reminds God of his unwavering commitment, highlighting how he lived his life with integrity and devotion. His every decision was guided by his love for God. He begs God to remember not only his personal devotion, but also the good he's done, the revival he sparked in Judah, and the restoration work he undertook in the temple. His prayer is a testament to a life well lived, a life dedicated to serving the Almighty. And God hears him. Moved by Hezekiah's devotion and his heartfelt plea, God intervenes. Isaiah returns with a divine message informing Hezekiah that his life will be extended by 15 years. And as if to confirm God's words, an inexplicable phenomenon occurs. The shadow on the palace steps moves backward, marking a literal turning back of time. This miracle is not just a spectacle, it's a tangible proof of God's response to Hezekiah's prayer. But this story takes another unexpected turn. Some time passes, and Hezekiah's health improves. The shadow incident becomes a thing of legend, and life seems to be returning to normal. Then one day, envoys arrive from Babylon. They're paying a friendly visit to Hezekiah, perhaps to forge an alliance or perhaps to show goodwill. But Hezekiah, overcome by the moment, boasts about his kingdom's wealth and power. Instead of directing them to God, he parades his treasures before them, showcasing his wealth and military might. It's a moment of pride, but it's also a pivotal point in his story because Isaiah is there to witness it all. And when Hezekiah lets his guard down, Isaiah delivers a message that brings Hezekiah back to reality. He tells the king that one day everything he has shown the Babylonians will be taken captive and become the spoils of war. Hezekiah's descendants, some of them, will even be dragged into exile. The prophecy hangs in the air, a stark reminder that even in victory, humility is key. Hezekiah's reaction is interesting. He doesn't seem to resent Isaiah's prophecy, but he does express relief that the events won't take place during his lifetime. Perhaps in that moment, he realizes the limits of his own mortality. And as it turns out, Hezekiah's intuition was right. He died 19 years later after a 29-year reign. The people of Judah mourned him deeply. He was laid to rest in the royal tombs, a place reserved for kings. The Bible describes his burial with reverence, stating that he was buried in the city of David, and all Judah and Israel wept for him. And his son Manasseh reigned in his place. As we reflect on the incredible journey of King Hezekiah, let's think about what we can learn from his story. Hezekiah wasn't a perfect king. He stumbled sometimes, showing pride and boasting about his kingdom's wealth. Yet, despite his flaws, he loved God with all his heart. We see this especially in his prayers. When faced with the threat of the Assyrian Empire, when he learned of his fatal illness, and when he basked in the glow of his success, his prayers weren't just desperate pleas. They were heartfelt conversations with a father, a friend, someone he deeply loved. Each prayer revealed a side of Hezekiah that was deeply devoted and utterly human. Hezekiah taught us that faith isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up when we do. Through Hezekiah, we learn the importance of constant prayer. It wasn't just about praying when things were bad. He prayed during the good times too, which is why God blessed him so much. Moreover, Hezekiah's story highlights the transformative power of prayer. When he prayed against the Assyrians, God sent an angel to defeat them. When he prayed for his life, God not only answered, but extended his years. These weren't just acts of divine favor. They were demonstrations of God's love for his servant and his desire to hear his voice. Before we close, let's remember that Hezekiah's story is more than just a historical account. It's a living example for us. In our darkest moments, when we feel like all hope is lost, we can turn to God in prayer. And when we're basking in the sunshine of success, we should remember to stay humble and give God the glory. The life of Hezekiah continues to echo through the corridors of history. He remains a beacon of faith, a model of steadfast devotion, and a living testament to the transformative power of prayer. His story reminds us that with God, all things are possible, and that a life lived in prayer is a life blessed beyond measure. Thank you for joining us today at Scripture's Haven, where the pages of the Bible come alive, where stories that have shaped our world unfold. If you enjoyed today's tale of King Hezekiah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Your engagement fuels our passion. Share this story with friends and family, and together let's keep the spirit of faith alive. Until next time, may the peace of God be with you always.